What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sling'n Proffet podcast. I am your host, as always, Sling, joined by my co-host, Proffet. Proffet, been a big week, man. Huge week.
Huge.
We got a lot to talk about. We're going to unpack the entire draft that was, with many, many surprises, many shocking moments, some good, some bad. We're going to talk about our winners. We're going to talk about our losers of the draft. We're going to talk about our steals, and we're going to talk about our surprises, what surprised us. We're going to obviously talk about a little bit more than that because that's what we do here on the Sling'n Proffet podcast. We're inclusive for everybody in all sports, except basketball, it seems, Proffet. Why does it seem like we haven't touched on the NBA playoffs yet? Because I know that they're in full swing. Have you been following that at all or no?
I thought we were touching on it for the last couple of weeks with talking about Caitlin Clark.
No, that's the WNBA. We're talking about the NBA, which is in playoff mode right now. Same with the NHL. I'm sure we got some hockey fans out there that are a little ticked off at us for not touching on their playoffs here. I will tell you that playoff hockey is exciting to watch, but
I like that red puck flying around on the ice. When they changed the color of that from black to red?
Oh, I haven't seen that. I remember they used to do that on like Fox years ago. Back in the 90s,
it had trailers and all.
Yeah, I think that was back in like 1996, Proffet. I don't think they do that anymore.
Never mind.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to tune in a little bit to some hockey. But hey, we had a busy week. What's going on in the world of Proffet land? I'll tell you what. And here in Jersey, it's been friggin' hot. The weather went from winter to summer overnight. Literally, I had my heat on Friday night, and by Sunday it was 92 degrees. Yeah, what's going on down there?
Similar, this morning I woke up and started the coffee and the fireplace kicked on. Right now I got every air conditioner in the house blowing. It's like, it's beautiful. I love it, from a sleeping standpoint. And it's dropping down into the high 40s at nighttime and going up into the mid 80s during the day. It's just beautiful weather. But now I'm having a little. I guess I'll share with you, seeing how we don't talk other than Wednesday nights.
That's not true. We talked this past weekend, so I don't want to hear about
it. That is true. Okay, I stand corrected. But now, Mrs. Proffet got me good the other day. We get deliveries every day at the house, but she asked me to get the box off the front porch. There's only a couple of packs of napkins in there, so I go out and it's big. It's a big box for a couple pack of napkins, but whatever. Bend over to pick it up. Boom! I left my gonads and everything else on the front porch. My hernia is out now, and come to find out that the only snack that Mrs. Proffet can taste because of the treatment and all is Mike and Ike's, and there's a 50-pound bag of Mike and Ike's in the box, not 4 pounds of napkins, but she likes them, so what the hell.
I don't know if I've ever seen a 50-pound bag of Mike and Ike's, but if anybody can find them, I know that she can.
She can, for sure.
Yeah. Not a whole lot going on. I don't think I have a whole lot going on this week. We got a birthday party coming up this weekend for Maddie. Maddie's turning 4 on Monday, so we'll have a little party for her on Saturday. Sunday we have soccer, Cinco de Mayo, which is, kind of a little bit downer. I want to be drinking margaritas, but I'll go watch my kid play soccer instead.
Take them with you.
Yeah, I guess I could do that, but I always have to drive, and I'm not a drinker and driver, so I like to follow the law and be safe. So
that's a smart move.
Yeah. Let's see. Friday, I got a field trip with my class, so tomorrow's technically my last day for the week.
Where are you going? To Home Depot?
We're going to some builders. We're going over to Philly for some builders association workshop. So we're going to check that out and see what's going on over there. But yeah, man, fun times. We got a lot of exciting things going on, and football's kicking in, and that'll be starting up before we know it. So exciting times, a lot going on here. I know. Hey, I'll tell you one thing. Our buddies from Montana really enjoyed our video last week. The Glacier Range Riders or whatever it was. That video got over 6,000 views on our social media. So, hey, we're going to bat for you, Range Riders. That damn National Park Service. They're not going to win that. They're not going to win that trademark battle. So, if we got anything to say about it, the Sling'n Proffet podcast, we stand for you.
We're
Glacier,
helping
Montana.
you out, guys.
I'll tell
We're
you what.
helping you out.
But
we love Montana.
I love Montana.
I do too. Beautiful country. It's a little too cold for me, year round, but other than that, man, it's beautiful country out there.
Anyway, we're gonna dive into it here and start our night off. Kind of on the same lines as our friends from Montana. The story from last week. We want to keep, always keep it light and give you some interesting things that are going on in the world of sports. And Proffet, what's more interesting than bees?
Bees?
Bees.
C's
right.
and D's.
Okay. No, I'm not talking about what grades you got in high school. Okay. I'm talking about bees, like, they harvest and make honey and stuff like that. And they sting the crap out of you. I don't really see a huge purpose for bees, but I don't want to say that too loud. But last night, during a baseball game between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Los Angeles Dodgers, there was a bee delay. There was quite the delay. There was a 2-hour delay, in fact, prior to the game, because there was an infestation of bees that took over the netting right by home plate. Wasn't safe for the batters to bat. It wasn't safe for the spectators to sit. How the hell does that colony form that quickly like that on a net without anybody noticing? I don't get it.
Well, I know a little bit about bees, okay? And, bees follow the queen. And I actually built a bee habitat for a company that I did some work for a few years back. And when that queen comes, man, wherever that queen goes, they follow. And they're actually phenomenal to watch. Yeah, I don't like getting stung by them, which I did numerous times, but they are fun. So
yeah, I'm going to take your word for that, because my experience with bees is not too great. You know who didn't like bees? That kid from My Girl, Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, he didn't like. Yeah, kid. He was allergic. I think it killed him. They stung him to death, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, a few years back, we were at the amusement park here at Dollywood, and they actually had a couple of rides closed because of bees. Yeah. Like they were swarming, and they couldn't run the coasters through them. I'm thinking, you got a coaster doing 50 mile an hour, it's going to clear them out. You ain't going to get stung. But nah, they erred on the side of caution, I guess.
Mrs. Proffet knew what I was talking about, at least with the My Girl reference. Anyway, they did wind up getting the game in here, and there was an unlikely hero out of all of this, and it was the beekeeper of all people. They had to call some local guy to come dispose of these bees properly and safely, because God forbid you kill them.
Well, you're not allowed to kill honeybees.
Oh,
and
here we go. Can I get through a friggin' story, please?
No. I mean, honeybees make honey. And, I don't know about you, but me and Logan, we've been drinking, hot tea and honey the past couple of weeks, local honey, to help with our allergies. I mean, that's a big thing.
Yeah, all right. So the unlikely hero is this beekeeper. So I guess he puts these bees to sleep or whatever. But I got a video queued up here. We're going to check it out. It's just a short little video, and then we're going to move on from the bee topic. But I didn't know this was going to hit Proffet all in his friggin' feelings here.
Yeah.
Check out this video here.
All eyes are
due to a
starting to
bee
go.
colony forming on the protective netting behind home plate. We ask that you please be patient.
They said our hero, the bee guy. So after 2-hour delay, the bee guy gets the bees down and they're able to play the baseball game. It was just a funny little story that I saw last night. And it's not the first time I've seen bee swarms at baseball games, but it is the first time that I've seen the beekeeper been given the hero's welcome. So that was pretty cool as a slow news day yesterday. So we're moving on here.
No, not yet. We're not, because I'm a little curious with this whole story. The big part of this to me is, what took this guy 2 hours to get to the stadium? Like, was he out on a date with his queen bee, or was he at home with his queen bee? Like, why did it take so long for him to get there?
Well, the rumor has it that he was at the bar and he had to wear off his buzz before he came over. So
and he had his wings clipped. Anyway,
so we're moving on. This weekend, we're done. This weekend, we're going to talk a little bit of wrestling. We're not going to talk on it very much, but we got Backlash coming up. It's the first pay-per-view since WrestleMania. It's airing live from France, which is WWE to go global and air these pay-per-views from different, countries and stuff like that. I don't know always, I don't always understand how good the crowd is in these events and stuff like that, but they're trying different things. Not gonna lie, I don't particularly love the card. Don't think that there's a whole lot of great things going on. You got Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. You got Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, which should be a good match, but you already know the outcome. Like, Cody's not going to lose. Bailey in a triple threat match. You got the Kabuki Warriors versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and then you got KO and Randy Orton versus the new Bloodline. Prophet, are you looking forward to this show, or are you just kind of blah on it, or what? Because I'm just kind of blah on it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because it's from France, and it's the first time that they're going to be doing a pay-per-view from France. But you missed the main event, though. I mean, Rene Goulet is taking on Pepe Le Pew. That should be a good match. But other than that, I mean, we gotta. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the Bloodline match and the women's tag team championship match, but it's really a down card for the first one after WrestleMania. But everybody's hurt.
Everybody's hurt. This whole draft is weird to me. They do the draft right after WrestleMania. It's just dumb to me personally. The product was so hot leading into WrestleMania, and then it's like it's a big snooze fest until about August when you get into SummerSlam, and then you lead into Survivor Series and stuff like that, getting ready to go again for WrestleMania. So I don't like how they do it, but it's like this every year. Sure, I'll probably watch, but it's I'll fast forward through it. But pretty cool.
Nice thing is that it with it being from over there, the start time for us, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna Saturday's also, we got a birthday party, but it's also opening day up here in New Jersey of flounder season, so I'm gonna try and get out on the old kayak and catch me a flounder or two. So we'll see what the weather's like. It's not supposed to be great weather. I think it's supposed to be a little windy. So if it is, then that'll deter me from going. But hopefully that's where I'll be. Maybe not at 12:30, but we'll see.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Moving on. talking, baseball a little bit again. Big news coming out of the MLB is Mike Trout suffers another serious injury. Tears his meniscus, will require surgery. They're saying he's probably not likely to miss the entire season. But Prophet, this is now 4 years in a row where he's suffered, a significant injury, and these injuries just seem to pile up for Trout, who is highly regarded as, the best player in baseball. But, you look at some of these numbers, and he's only played 237 of 486 possible games from 2021 to 2023. That's less than 50% of the games he's played in. And now he's going to go turn around and miss another huge chunk in 2024. He's 32 years old, going on 33. He's batting 220, he just you go back to 2018, like he missed 20 games there. He missed 140 games in 2021. He missed 40 games in 2022. He missed 90 games in 2023. And now he's going to miss a significant amount of time. Tough, local guy here in New Jersey. Played ball about 30 minutes down the road from me. Would like to see him, be the way he was and be the dominant baseball player that he was for however long he's been doing it. But it could be it. What do you think? I don't know. I mean, I know you don't follow a whole lot of baseball, but I know Mike Trout. So
Well, I mean, he's been in the league for 14 years now, and this is, what did I say today? This is going to be the fourth out of the last 5 years that he hasn't played in at least 82 games. This is not good for baseball. He's one of the class acts in the sport, and I just remember being up in Jersey when he came to town. Man, it only happened once, and it was big to try and go and see him play in Philly. Again, like you said, a local boy and just a all around great player, but he's not that person anymore.
Larry, what does a flounder mean? Larry says Trout is a flounder. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Larry's not a Mike. Okay. Because they're both. Yeah, because they're both fish. Flounder. Okay, I get it now, Larry. Thank you. I'm gonna cut that out of the segment. We're not gonna touch on that. But yeah, I mean, hey, anytime one of your faces of whatever league you're in goes down for an extended period, it's tough. But he's just seemed to be doing it more often than not lately, which it's tough for him. So I do think that him being the face of the MLB is kind of worn off or is wearing off significantly. I think that's fair to say. I think that there's, we're turning over a new leaf with some of our younger guys and stuff like that. So I hope it's not the end. I like watching them play, but I hope it's not the end for them.
I don't think it's the end, but I think it's definitely the end of, what we're accustomed to, from 5 years ago and further. Yeah, I mean, he started out, he wasn't hitting real well for average, but he was leading the league in home runs. He had 10 home runs already this year. And
did he? No, yeah, I didn't know that. See, I don't. I guess that shows you how much I knew about Trout this year, because I just saw his batting average and figured that he was struggling. So he was leading the league.
You know what a big thing is that the Angels have him signed until 2030. Yeah, I don't know what kind of guaranteed money he had in his contract, but they may start looking to do something with him.
Yeah, we'll see. Speaking of moving guys, NFL, there's been a little bit of movement. Obviously we had the draft and teams are making moves that get, to free up some room for their new draft picks, and they're making, they're signing free agents and signing undrafted free agents. And did you hear about the Cowboys? They made a huge acquisition the other day. Did you hear? Yeah. Cowboys are bringing back Ezekiel Elliott, of all people. Running back Zeke Elliott re-signs with the Cowboys from a stellar year with the with the New England Patriots. So, Prophet, what do you make of this signing here for the Cowboys? Does this put them back in contention or what?
Well, it doesn't put it back. Yeah, there you go. Hey, last week I said they needed a running back. I didn't mean bring back Ezekiel Elliott. Come on, like
Yeah.
they got rid of him 2 years ago because they didn't think he fit the bill. You know, why do you think now he's a year older than he does? I mean,
So he actually ran for more than I thought last year. He ran for 184 attempts, or he ran for 642 yards on 184 attempts, which is a measly 3.5 yards per carry. But I didn't realize he ran for that much. I thought he was like a 300, 400 yarder. But
Stevenson was hurt for a while too. He got he got playing time there.
I just don't see how where this signing fits. Why they make it. I guess you need a running back, but come on, there's people out there. There's guys out there. They signed him for $3 million, I guess, is in 2020, or his base salary is $1.25 million, but he's got a ton of incentives. So he gets a $375,000 signing bonus. He gets a $375,000 active roster bonus. So if he makes the roster, he gets another $375,000. It says to reach the $3 million mark, the Cowboys must reach the playoffs. After that, he can boost his pay in 3 ways: post 1,100 scrimmage yards for $250,000, which I don't see happening; score 10 touchdowns for $250K, which I also don't see happening; and or play 51% of the offensive snaps for $500,000. So
I think
there's ways for him. There's ways for him to make money. Yeah, there's ways for him to make money. He's got to make the active roster first. Like, as crazy as that sounds to say, like, I don't know, is he as productive? Can he be as productive nearly as he used to be? Which, that's the big question,
No, I mean, they wouldn't have let him go last year if they felt that way, that he could. But
yeah.
I mean, this is actually good for Zeke, though, because I don't know. I kind of hate it when players are on one team for their whole career and then they go and they play for somebody else and then they go back to the team and retire from, they get signed for a day and retire from that team. Here, he's going to have a chance to retire from the Cowboys like he should. But I didn't think they should ever gotten rid of him, to be honest. But
well, now they got rid of him. They don't even have the guy who they got rid of him for, Tony Pollard, anymore. He's moved on to, well, you don't think he's moved on to greener pastures because you don't believe in him, but we'll see what happens and what he's able to do this year. So interesting to see how it'll play out. Who else is in the Cowboys backfield right now? I'm not sure. I'm sure they got some. Well, we'll talk about the draft here coming up, but he's definitely not going to be the workhorse. And I'll tell you who is going to be the workhorse. One of these horses on the Kentucky Derby this weekend. One of these 24 horses, and obviously there's not 24 horses in the race. Some of them got to scratch in, but this Saturday, not horsing around. This Saturday is the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby race. The most exciting 2 minutes of your life. Some people will beg to differ, but hey, we're talking about horse racing right now. What? Listen, it's a family show, all right?
I know it, and stop bragging. But you don't get 2 minutes.
Excuse me, Prophet. We all know you're a big horse player. You like to play with your ponies. Let's talk a little bit about let's talk. You play with your little pony. Let's talk a little bit about the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Roses here. It's a great event. I love to watch it from start to finish. I think they usually do the first post time at like 10 a.m. There's 16 races throughout the day, whatever it is. And I'll turn it on at 10 a.m. and I'll just watch it straight through. I love the undercards. I would love to go one day, but really can't afford to. I don't want to go in the infield because they say it's an absolute cluster, and I can't afford like grandstand tickets yet at this point in my life. So we got a field of 20 here, Prophet. We got a field of 20. I know some of these are going to scratch out. I don't think there's scratches on here yet. But talk to us a little bit about who you like and why. Let's go down the list here real quick. I'm just going to run off some of these. I'm just going to run off the list of horses. We got number 1, the 1 horse Dornock.
Yeah.
The number 2 horse Sierra Leone. The number 3 horse Mystic Dan. The number 4 horse Catching Freedom, which I do enjoy that name. The number 5 horse Catalytic. What an ironic name, Catalytic, because the prevalence of catalytic converters being stolen in America right now is off the charts. So maybe that'll be a foreshadow. Number 6 is Just Steel. Number 7 is Honor Marie. Number 8, Just a Touch. We're talking about lasting 2 minutes. Just a touch here. We'll see. I don't know in that 8 horse. Number 9, Encino. Number 10,
Scratch.
T.O. Number 9, Scratch.
Yeah.
Number 10, T.O. Password. Number 11, Forever Young, a little homage to my boy Rod Stewart, maybe. Number 12, Track Phantom. Number 13, West Saratoga. Number 14, Endlessly. Number 15, Domestic Product. Number 16, Grand Mo the First. Number 17, Fierceness. Number 18, Stronghold. Number 19, Resilience. And number 20, Society Man. Looking at this right here, Prophet, we got number 17, Fierceness, as our 5-2 favorite.
Yeah, it's a Fletcher
Close
horse.
behind that is number 2, Sierra Leone, coming in at a 3-1 favorite. Other than that, Prophet, this is a wide open field, and it's exactly what you want out of the Kentucky Derby, because we'll talk about it here, and I'll give you the air here in a second, but there's money to be made in this race, and there's money to be made in the Kentucky Derby. And if there's not a huge favorite up there on the board, it's really anybody's game here. Talk to me a little bit about who you like, what you like, and then we'll go on to we're going to give the Prophets Kentucky Derby plays, okay? Separate. We're going to do that next, okay? We're going to give that separate. That's not going to be our Sling'n Proffet plays of the week, but Prophet's going to go through his plays for the Kentucky Derby. That way, if you guys want to get your wagers in, I know some of you guys aren't able to sports bet, but I'm pretty sure betting at the track is legal most places. So if you do want to get your Derby bets in somehow, some way, Prophet's going to give you those. Prophet, take the floor, man.
Yeah, this is, like you said, this is the 150th running, and it's an absolute spectacle. In my younger days, I would have loved to have been there. I don't like crowds anymore, so I enjoy sitting and watching it from the comforts of my home. You got any horse, okay? There's 24 horses there, 23 now, so the top 21 right now are going to be in the race. Any horse on that list, though, is capable of winning this race. I mean, you don't go to the Kentucky Derby. Sometimes the owners will put them in just to say they had a horse in the Derby, but a couple of years ago, Sonny Leone brought in a $150 horse. I can't remember the name of the horse, but
$150 horse. Explain to the people, Prophet, what that means, because
winning bets are based on $2 increments. So if the horse paid $150 to win, that means he went off at 74-1. His odds were 74-1. You see, there's horses there that are 50-1. It can happen. It does happen from time to time. It's not an every year occurrence. But when, like you said, when there's not, a big time favorite, that's normally the time that long shots come in this race. And I just happen to have the long shot that I think is going to come in.
And let's talk about it here. And I'll tell you what, people, I will vouch for Prophet. He hits it at a what, 50-something or 60-something% clip at the sports betting.
80,
but he's hitting what?
80, but go ahead.
80.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 80.
Yeah,
but he's hitting it at a 96% clip here with the horse betting. So you might want to take notes here.
And no, this is just something I do every day. This is, it's part of.
So Proffet, if you guys at home are listening, and you could picture like the old man at the track with the the hot dog and the beer, that would be Proffet. But he's not at the track; he's watching it at home, and he doesn't have the beer or the hot dog. I don't think.
Yeah, but, we do. I mean, some from time to time. Sometimes we have nachos and cheese, but
nachos and cheese. Okay, but yeah, that's him yelling at the TV, and he's also whipping his behind with the paper, but that's simply for pleasure. He doesn't. It's not because he's yelling at the horses. But Proffet, here goes your Kentucky Derby plays. I got. Go ahead. Can you read them off there or no?
No, but I got them written down here. So
hopefully we went in order. The first play is your across the board play. Talk about it and tell them what across the board means if they don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So from a winning standpoint, you can bet the horse three ways, and that's across the board, and it's win, place, and show. So if the horse comes in any position, first, second, or third, you will get paid for it. It comes in first, you get more money, obviously. It comes in third, you get a lesser payout. You only get paid for the third place, but you don't get paid for all three spots because obviously you didn't come in all three. But I don't know that I explained that real well.
No, you didn't. So let's just talk about who you picked.
Okay. So
across the board means win, place, or show. First, second, or third place. Proffet's go ahead. Tell them who you got.
Okay. So I'm going with the number 19 Resilience, who right now is morning line 20-1 underdog here, which let me just give you an idea. Okay. Say he goes off at 20-1. That means he's going to pay $42. So I'm going to have $20 to win on him. I'm going to win $420 on the win bet, just on the win bet. Okay. I'm going 20 across the board, win, place, and show on the 19 horse Resilient.
That'll be a $60 total bet because you got 20 to win, total. 20 to place, and 20 to show. So, all right, go to your second pick. You got an exacta box. Talk to me, layman's terms here. What's an exacta and what's a box?
An exacta is the first two finishers. So the winner and the place horse. And boxing it simply means that it doesn't matter what order they come in. And I'm going with the 17, which is Fierceness, along with the 19 for a $20 exacta box, which is going to cost $40 to play. Okay, so long as the 17 and the 19 come in 1-2, it doesn't matter what order the exacta box hits.
$20 exacta box, 19 with the 17, it'll cost you $40. If it comes in 19-17, you win. If it comes in 17-19, you win. Talk about the next one, $5 exacta 19 with the 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, and 17. Sounds a little intimidating, and it probably is for the novice bettor, but what's it mean?
But reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm always available to walk you through it. Okay, it's a $5 exacta. My favorite horse, the 19, is on top. And if anyone
on top means coming in first.
If any one of the 6 horses underneath of that come in second, then I'm going to win the exacta. There have been exactas, that have come in and paid $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 at the Derby. So obviously I got a long shot on top. I'm hoping for another long shot to come in behind it. A $5 bet will get you 2.5 times what the exacta pays. So if the exacta pays $200, I would get $500 for the $5 bet. Okay. And then the next confusing. The next bet's the same thing, the same numbers, but I got them all to come in first with the 19 to come in second. Okay. And it's another $30 bet. And you know what? To try and talk about the trifectas, let's just let that go. Guys, if you want, reach out to me. Okay. You can see the trifecta plays there. Okay. Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to go over with you. But because the trifectas are a little more, a little more into it. So
Yeah. Well, there you have it. And like you said, if you have any questions, reach out to Prophet, reach out to us on social media. I'll make sure I get you in touch because it's Derby Day. Everybody plays a Derby, so everybody's going to have questions. And not for nothing, I wouldn't if I had to ask somebody about a horse play. I'm going to the guy on your screen that you're looking at right here. The not the good looking one, but the one that is a little bit older. I'm asking him everything he needs or everything you need to know about horse racing. So we're moving on here. We're gonna go ahead.
No, just to let everybody know, I mean, there's so many factors that come into play in horse racing. I mean, I spend a lot of time doing it. I'm pretty damn good at it.
I already told them that, Prophet. We're good. They already know you're good at it.
No, but like the weather. I mean, the weather is a huge thing. Okay, this is all based on it's supposed to be nice on Saturday here, but a thunderstorm or something comes in and rains all afternoon. That could change everything up, and that's why I said reach out to me.
Right. So we're going to talk about the draft, which is what people are tuning in for. We had so much go on in this draft, and we talked about it when we were doing our mocks. One pick goes one way, it's going to throw off your whole draft. But before we get into our winners and losers, I just want to take a second to collect my flowers, so to speak. Maybe, Prophet, you could acknowledge me as your tribal chief because give them the numbers. Give them the numbers, Prophet. In our picks, in our mock draft, I hit 5 exact picks. How many picks did you hit exact?
2.
That's a difference of 3. Now,
yes, it is.
I hit 16 positional picks,
15.
Meaning I hit 15 positional picks, meaning I didn't have the right player, but I had the right position. Prophet, how many did you have?
16.
16. So a difference of 1. So a difference of 3 and a difference of 1 means that I still won the contest, and you're supposed to be the pigskin prophet. I think I'm going to start wearing the crown here, Prophet.
You don't want to do that, man.
Maybe I should call you Sling because I'm the boss in town here.
You don't want to do that, pal.
I'll tell you what. It was a hard draft. It was a hard draft to predict, but somebody had to do it, and I'm glad to say that I hit on what's 5 out of 32, like 76% or something. So I'm hitting it at 76% clip here, Prophet.
Yeah, you're hitting in the 76% clip.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about our winners and our losers. We're going to start
before draft pick number 3. Okay, I knew my draft was done. Okay, yeah, anybody can sit there and pick 4 to 5 favorites and then be happy about it at the end of the day. Okay, I went out on a limb with the 3rd pick, New England's pick. I changed things up a little bit, and it didn't happen, and that just screwed up my whole draft. But in the end, I had more selections at position than you did. So,
yeah, by 1, and then ultimately that means that I had less differential. But we're moving on. We're going to talk about our winners first. We're going to give 3 winners, 3 losers. Our number 3 winner, and I don't know if I did this in order for you, Prophet. I don't know how you listed your winners because I did number 3 as the bottom. So anyway, we're moving on. Our NFL draft winners, my number 3 winner is a little bit out there. Okay, it might not be a team, but it's Nick Saban. And Prophet said, whoa, before we started the show, what are you, making jokes or something? I'm not making jokes. Nick Saban was a winner out of that draft. The reason why I say it is because his reporting, and his demeanor was amazing, and I enjoyed watching him, and his insight was great, and he had a lot of great things to add and a lot of great things to say, and I'm excited to see him work more with ESPN and College Game Day and stuff like that this coming football season. I thought he did a great job, and he, like you said, he added another element to the draft and an element of pure legitimacy. I didn't get a chance to watch Belichick, but I imagine that he did okay, and he adds that element as well. But I think Saban earned himself a job for sure, and like I said, I enjoyed listening to him. You were a little bit more.
What's on the wall behind you? Does that sign say "Roll Tide"?
It says Bama fans this way, and it's pointing to my. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Homer.
Yeah. Anyway, you were a bit more of a traditionalist. Okay, you got the Indianapolis Colts as your number 3 winner. Talk to me about what what the Colts did well, what you liked about it.
Well, okay.
And let's try and keep it to under 5 minutes here.
The Colts had the number 1 pick in the draft from a defensive standpoint. So they had anybody they wanted to, because when they picked 15th, all 14 players ahead of them were offensive players. So they had to have loved that, and they ended up taking Latu, which was a big need area. I mean, if this kid can stay healthy his career, then I think it's going to turn out to be a great pick. I might have went a little different. Might have gone with someone, because because of his injury history and all. But I mean, Latu, you can't mess with him unless he gets hurt. Okay, no way in the world that they anticipate being able to get the wide receiver from Texas, Mitchell, with the 52nd pick. Okay, which, I mean, they filled a huge need there with one of the top receivers in the draft after the big 3. And you just look at the rest, everything they did was filling needs, and they got decent players along the way in doing so. They got, Micah Abraham in the 6th round, I believe, number 201, who he's Donnie Abraham's son, so you got a bloodline there. The kid probably knows a little bit how to play the game. I think the Colts did really well this draft. Now, if they can only get a quarterback, they might be okay this year.
Come on, man. They got Anthony Richardson. He'll be back.
He'll be back, but for how long?
We'll see. I mean, it was kind of a freak injury last year. It's not something that you just...
It's a running quarterback's injury.
Yeah. Larry says 6 quarterbacks in the top 12 is nuts. I think that's absolutely preposterous, Larry. I think you're absolutely correct. I also think that the first 14 picks in the draft being offensive players is absolutely ridiculous as well. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. We're moving on to our number 2 winners. I had the Washington Commanders, and I'll go into a little bit here about why I said what I said with the Commanders. I thought the Commanders had a great draft from the standpoint of, I think Jaden Daniels is the number 1 quarterback that's going to come out of this class. I think he's going to be ready to play from day one. I think Kingsbury's going to I love Kingsbury as an offensive coordinator for this guy. He's going to put this guy in positions to be successful, while other quarterbacks I think were a reach. We McCarthy and Drake May and Williams. You don't know what you're going to get. I think Daniels is the most battle ready. So they get him at number 2 overall, and then you come in, and then you got 3 picks in the 2nd round, and with those 3 picks, I think they hit friggin' home runs. They take 1. You think they hit 1?
Yeah,
you're out of your mind. They hit Johnny Newton, who's the number 1 defensive tackle in the draft. They fill a void there, and then they come back and get Sandstrom from Michigan, who's okay, but he's not going to hurt them. But that's not even the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is the tight end from Kansas State. I think is going to push for a starting job from day one. I think he's got a possibility of beating Ertz out from day one. I think this kid He's a pass catcher. He can do it. He can block. I think they had a great pick there. And then they go in and they fill voids on the offensive line. And then you can't go wrong with Ed McCaffrey's son, Luke. You always want to have a McCaffrey on your team. It's never hurts to do that. So, and they got him in.
You can't go wrong with Ed McCaffrey's son, Christian.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to Luke. But I think the Commanders had a nice little draft, man. They, like I said, they got their quarterback of the future, and then they come back in the second round. They get a defensive tackle who should have gone a hell of a lot earlier, and they get a tight end who, quite possibly the second best tight end in the draft. So, and Bowers is in a league of his own. So. You got the Cowboys as your second winner here, staying with the NFC East. A lot of people saying the Cowboys didn't have a great draft. Talk to me about it.
Well, I mean, hey, look, I took some heat last week about what I said about the Cowboys needing pretty much everything. Okay, evidently, Jerry Jones must watch the show because 2, 4, 6, 8 picks. He picked 7 different position players in his draft. So he obviously knew that he needed a new team, and he went out there and got it. And like everything they did is need filling. And I just think, you got to. I bashed them last week. I got to give them their kudos for having a good draft. I'm going to bash them for picking Ezekiel Elliott up again.
Now, I don't know if just because they filled a need, does that make it a good draft? Did they fill the need with good players is the question.
Well, yeah. And I mean, unfortunately, we'll be here till 10 o'clock if we sit here and talk about every player. We did that last week the last 2 weeks for where we thought they should be going. But no, I mean, you look down their line there. I mean, they got Nealon at 56. They got Beebe. I wonder if that's Don Beebe's son.
I don't know. I wondered that too, but my guess would be there's got to be some kind of relation because everybody's coming around twofold now.
I feel bad for Mrs. Beebe then. But whatever. Okay. So
we're moving on.
Dallas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 2 winner. We're moving on to our number 1 winners. My number 1 winner, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Your number 1 winner, the Baltimore Ravens. I'll let you go first this time, Prophet. Talk to me about why you had the Ravens in number 1 spot.
Okay. Well, let's see. Their first pick, they go with Nate Wiggins, one of the top cornerbacks in the league. Okay. Then they get a
kid from Clemson.
Clemson, yeah. Then they get a big-time offensive tackle, from Washington, which you had them picking an offensive tackle, not this guy, but you had them picking a lineman. Okay. They get a linebacker from Penn State. This kid's a prodigy pick. I mean, he's either going to be it or he isn't. And if he is, he's going to be along the lines of a Patrick Queen. Okay. They get another big playmaker for Jackson to throw the ball to, and Devontae Walker. They got with the 130th pick, the guy that I had going in the first round, TJ Tampa, another cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now they're going against Russell
good
Wilson
with the Tampa pick, by the way.
Oh yeah, okay.
You projected him as a first rounder.
You had one that went in the 6th round, but I haven't talked about that. So
who was that?
Franklin, I think. I don't remember.
Oh.
Just up and down the board, man. They just got stronger again. Cincinnati. You got Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Okay. They got two cornerbacks in this draft that are, they're going to help shut down their receivers. It just seems lots of times in these drafts the rich get richer, and an honorable mention goes out to the Bears. Yeah, getting Rome Sunday with the 9th pick. They could have never anticipated that, but they set Caleb Williams up to succeed. Will he? We'll see.
I was going to say the Bears, but I can't get into Caleb Williams, man. But the Steelers had a good draft, in my opinion. They did a good job of protecting their quarterback, whoever it's going to be, Fields or Russell Wilson. And then to be able to go and get, this Troy Fontenot or whatever, probably was a great pick. But for them to be able to get Frazier, that center out of West Virginia, at number 51, I think was one of the steals, and I didn't put it on there, but I think one of the biggest steals in the draft, because this guy was a bona fide first round projection. And I think they filled a huge void with a local guy right in their own backyard, and he'll go in from day one. So
he ain't the next Mike Webster, that's for sure. But okay,
I don't know. I don't know who that is. And then you get Roman Wilson, wide receiver from Michigan, who okay, great. You got some receiver help, but the pick that I love is the Peyton Wilson from NC State. Is that the guy that I had going in the third round or first round that you were talking about?
No.
The kid
may not be able to play.
Why?
Because he ain't got an ACL.
Who, Peyton Wilson?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they don't know.
Is that why? Well, they got that's what I'm saying, though. But
that's why they got him where they got him.
Right. Exactly. You got a first round pick in the third round. This guy, even with an ACL, he's going to pop back. But before the end of the season, he did it late in the year, didn't he?
I don't know. I heard he lost a leg.
I don't think he's got one leg, but this guy was an absolute friggin' beast, and I think they got a first round linebacker in the third round. So, I'm excited. Not excited, but I thought they had a good draft. Yes, Larry said sure. Jacksonville picked up a great undrafted wide receiver. If you're talking about,
yes, they did. They did.
If they're talking about, the Brevin Easton, pride and joy of Big Country Sports Group, my first ever signing. Brevin, congratulations. Brevin signed a undrafted free agent deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it wasn't a mini camp invite. It was an actual signing. So he is on the roster, and he'll get a chance to go show his stuff in camp and see what he can do there. So I'm excited, obviously, for that. Anyway, we're looking forward here. We hit on our winners.
Let's talk about winners. I didn't like your winners, not one iota. As a matter of fact, I had, with the exception of Saban, I had the other two listed as my losers.
Go figure, Prophet. NFL draft losers, number 3 for me, Jamal Charles, more so the NFL. And I don't know if you guys saw Jamal Charles. They do all these players and people and whoever, they all come out and announce the draft and stuff like that. And they announce the draft picks, which I don't particularly care for. Okay. I don't need to see, little Johnny from the house down the street who won a contest at his local 7-Eleven, and he gets to come out and name a NFL draft pick. I think that's a bunch of crap. All right, I don't like watching it. The kid, it doesn't like you. There's nothing worse than a player, getting his name butchered. You're going to the NFL draft. It's supposed to be the best day of your life. You get to hear your name called, and then somebody butchers your name because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's a big problem for me, and I think the NFL should stop doing it. Get Goodell out there to announce the names, and then when he's done on the second day, get his deputy commissioner in there and announce the friggin' names. I don't need to hear the general public announcing names now. Jamal Charles, they parade him out there. Obviously, the Chiefs, he's got history there. He's a great player, blah, blah, blah. He can't read. And it's not a joke. Like it's a he's got a disability, like a learning disability. He can't read, and he goes out there and tries to read this card, and he butchers the name of San Francisco. He butchers the name of the Chiefs. He butchers the draft picks name because he can't freaking read. And like the NFL had to have known that, and Charles had to have known that, and it was just a bad look, and I felt bad for the guy. But again, it's not so much that Charles is the loser here. The NFL is the loser, and they need to stop doing this crap with all these people announcing the picks. That's just my 2 cents on it. You had the Miami Dolphins as your number 3 loser. Talk about it.
Yeah, well, I don't. You know what? I don't think. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you, to be honest, which is not a good thing tonight. Okay, but last week, 3 days, 775,000 people, I believe it was at that draft.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do something to change things up. It can't be, 257 picks all being done the same way. But don't. I didn't see the Charles pick, and if it was as bad as you're saying it is, then I legitimately feel bad for him. They should not put people in that position, by no means. But with that being said, the number 3 loser I got, and I had a whole list of losers, man. There were a ton of losers in this draft, especially me picking, exact players. But the Miami Dolphins, okay, they make their number 1 pick is Chop Robinson, which is not a bad pick. It's a very good pick, okay. And then they get Patrick Paul from Houston, an offensive tackle. You can never protect your quarterback with enough help. That's for sure. But now they come back. They take a running back in the 3rd round, which the last time I checked, their running back core was one of the best in the league. They don't need a running back. They take 2 receivers later in the draft. They're doing some research on them. These guys are lucky to even make the team. And they don't. If you're going to try and get somebody to replace Hill or Waddle if they get hurt again this year, it sure as hell ain't these 2 guys. So their draft sucked. Miami down 3 notches.
I agree, and I do agree with one thing you said is a lot of drafts sucked, and there was, I don't know, man, it was weird draft. It was definitely a weird draft. My number 2 loser is the Denver Broncos, and I'm not going to sit here and talk too long about this, but it's for one reason and one reason only, and that's you drafted Bo Nix.
Top quarterback in the draft. What are you talking about? Come on.
Bo Nix at number 12.
Come on.
You drafted Bo Nix at number 12. That's my problem. That's why you're my number 2 loser. You got Zach Wilson on the roster, which they declined to pick up his option today. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So he's playing this year on a 1-year deal. And you drafted Bo Nix.
Well,
that's my problem. Your number 2 loser is the Buffalo Bills. Talk to me about it. Let's keep these a little bit more. Let's keep these a little more concise here, Prophet.
I thought Denver had a great draft actually with Bo. They got Troy Franklin. He was your guy that you had picked to go like 4th or so in the draft, 102nd. They got a great running back. They got the next Puka. I mean, it was a great draft, man, for Denver. I don't know what you're looking at. Okay. But at any rate, the Buffalo Bills, they trade out of the 1st round. They drop down 4 or 5 slots, and they could, they need a receiver, and they got a decent receiver in Keon Coleman. Okay. But my thought process there is you don't have a receiver of any real value on that team. Why are you trading down instead of trading up to get one of the top guys to help, your top quarterback. Made no sense to me. They're just looking up and down, up and down. You know, they got Ray Davis from the running back from Kentucky. Not a bad pick, but not a pick of need. Uh, they only drafted one receiver the whole draft. I mean, they did pick up a couple of D backs, but did they get a safety? Yeah, okay, they did get a safety in Cole Bishop, who, to replace Micah Hyde. But I don't know. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, like you said, I think the biggest gap that they needed to fill was the to replace Stephon Diggs, and they didn't do a good job of doing that.
No, and like
I don't know.
the two, they got Curtis Samuel, who's a decent receiver, and they got Shakir, who's a decent receiver. But now they got three decent receivers when they had one of the best receivers in the league, and they didn't replace them. Don't get it.
Yeah. We're moving on, and our number one loser here, and you went with the Falcons, and I was going to go with the Falcons, but I just didn't want to go with the Falcons because for the simple fact that you did, and I'll talk about that later, and in one of my other picks here, the Falcons could be the biggest loser, possibly of the decade, with some of their picks and some of their idiot moves. But my biggest loser here is Defenders. And no, that's not some new team that joined the NFL or who are the Defenders? No, my biggest loser here is the Defenders, the defensive players in this NFL draft. For not a single defensive player to be chosen until pick 15 in the first round is an absolute atrocity. Atrocity.
Great.
Monstrosity. Whatever. It sucked. I don't know what the word I was looking for, but it sucked. Okay. And I'm worried about what it's going to do to the game from a ground up standpoint. All right. Because now what's going to motivate, younger kids that want to go out there and actually play defense or be a, be an all-American linebacker or the best defensive back on the field, or you're not going in the top 15 picks in the NFL apparently, because we're going to take 4 or 5 average quarterbacks before we're going to take the best defender on the field or in the draft. And we're going to take a couple or offensive linemen who maybe you can make an argument for a couple of them, but not all of them before we take a defensive player. What is this going to do to the game? And I don't know maybe I'm looking too much into it, but it's kind of disturbing to me, and it's kind of a little bit scary to think about. Like I said, from a ground up standpoint, because now it doesn't matter, what you play on defense. If you're an offensive player that's slightly mediocre, then you're going to get more treatment. And I deal with this every day from my business that I'm running too. I got guys who are great on the defensive side of the ball, or guys that are great at other positions, and all anybody wants to deal with is wide receivers, quarterbacks. Nobody wants to give the time of day to these other positions, man, and it sucks. And it's I guess it's the way the world's going, but it's going to make coaching a hell of a lot harder, I think, as the years go on, if this trend continues, because you're not going to have anybody who wants to play friggin' defense. No, I just want to catch the ball and get my name in the paper. Come on, man. It just bothers me.
Because I mean, it's always been, unless you blow somebody up on the defensive side of the ball, you're not going to be in the highlight reel. And now with the rule changes for tackling, it's making it even more difficult to blow somebody up. So then you put on top of it all these, and you know what's like? I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with 6 quarterbacks going in the first 12 picks if they were 6 good quarterbacks.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, that's the point. That's why I said 4 average quarterbacks, because I think you got 2 of them in there that could that could potentially play. But talk about your loser. We got to start moving on.
We got to revisit this in 5 years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what this draft class of quarterbacks look like in 5 years.
Talk about your biggest loser.
But my biggest loser, the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, I don't even want to talk about them. I mean, what the hell was Arthur Blank and Raheem Moore? What were they thinking? Taking money, you just signed the guy to.
I don't think Blank had anything to do with it. I think the GM. You saw the video come out. The GM from the Falcons was trying to explain the pick to Arthur Blank and why he did it. You can see him with his hand motions, like, oh, you pick this guy here, pick this guy here, blah blah blah. I don't want to cut you off, but I don't think Blank had anything to do with it. I think it was
whoever was involved in making this pick, they should be fired. Okay, plain and simple. $160 million you just give to Kirk Cousins. $100 million of it is guaranteed, and with the 8th pick in the draft, you are going to reach. It's not like somehow Jaden Daniels fell to number 8. You are reaching with Michael Penix when your defense sucks, absolutely sucks. And these guys are professionals. I mean, come on.
Wait, I just had my hands off for a second. You didn't say Penix sucks, right?
No, I didn't say Penix sucks. I said these guys suck.
All right, I was just making sure because Penix doesn't suck. But you know what does suck is if I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm like, dude, get me out of here. I don't want to play here. Kirk Cousins didn't. They said Kirk Cousins didn't find out that they were drafting him until they were on the clock.
They were on the clock, and they give him a courtesy call. Oh, he's not going to be competing. Well, guess what? If you drafted him with the 8th pick and you're not going to let him compete for a position this year, then you suck even worse.
That's what I'm saying. They said, "Oh, well, Kirk's our quarterback now, and we got our quarterback of the future." Dude, that's not how you do it, man. No. And like you said, it's Michael Penix. There's another Michael Penix coming up next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. So I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened, but unfortunately it did. And I feel bad for Kirk Cousins. I never thought I would say that because he's kind of I don't know. I don't really care for the guy, but I just think that's bad business, man. I did not like the move. I didn't understand it. And I think most of America, shares the same sentiment. So let's move.
I don't know how many people fell off their chair when they heard that name called.
Yeah,
and I did.
Let's talk about our surprises of the draft. And you, obviously, you took, Michael Penix as your number 2 surprise. So we're not going to really talk too much about it because we just did. My number 2 surprise was the Eagles taking Quinyon Mitchell at number 22. All right, so we talk about the run of offensive players that went first. It kind of fell to where the Eagles, you knew were going to get a solid defensive player. And I'm not saying Mitchell's not a solid defensive player, but I didn't think he was going to be the first corner taken. I thought it should have been Arnold or, Dijon from Iowa. And we talked about it last week. And he said, well, you got a guy who's playing SEC every week. You got a guy who's playing Big Ten every week. Or you got a guy who's playing in the MAC every week. So, I was kind of surprised by that. And it turns out that it didn't matter for the Eagles because they went up and got Dijon anyway, which how they did. The Eagles, Eagles talk about, they had a good draft.
Winners, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about winners. They had there's no two ways about it, man. And I'm like I said, I don't care for the Eagles, but it is what it is. They had a good draft. Other than that pick of the guy from Houston Christian, which I didn't understand. I didn't like that pick. They had a good draft, but yeah, I was surprised by Mitchell going 22 to the Eagles. I didn't think he was going to be. I knew he was going to be drafted high, but I didn't think he was going to be the first corner taken. So, moving.
The only thing you can say about that he was the first corner taken, so the Eagles obviously thought he was the best. So they technically got their man. Which
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think that he was. I didn't think that he was the man.
Right.
You
We
know,
agree on that, but
and we talk. We talked about Penix. I talked about Knicks earlier. Your number one surprise is JJ McCarthy. We haven't talked about him yet this podcast. Let's talk about why you think that he was your number one surprise for the Vikings.
Well, I don't know. Again, you get a quarterback, go, and now everybody starts getting nervous. Okay, and Minnesota scrambled. They moved up 3 picks to get McCarthy. As it turns out, it was probably a good move. Because Penix went. Denver probably would have taken him instead of Nix. But again, this guy is they're all unproven at the NFL level, but he doesn't have, the stats. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. Like,
I hated this pick. I hated McCarthy coming out of college. I don't think he's going to be good. I don't know where his stock rose the way it did. I don't see this guy doing anything.
I don't know that he's going to be any better than what the hell they have in Sam Darnold there. And like, if you're going to pick a quarterback, take somebody in the next round. And groom them.
Yeah, like you talk about, like there's quarterbacks out there, man. I don't know. To waste a pick on McCarthy that high when there's other guys that are, I think, very similar to his playing style and productivity that could have got you probably the same result.
And you have bigger needs on your team,
right?
Right. And they just bypass it.
You talk about a guy like and I know Kuiper hated the pick. Kuiper buried Devin Leary from South Jersey. He went in the 6th round to the Ravens, and I thought he was a good quarterback coming out. I thought he was a good, solid pro style quarterback, and Kuiper buried him, and he just said didn't pan out at Kentucky, didn't do this, and just But I thought he was solid coming out. I thought the quarterback from Notre Dame didn't even get drafted. What the hell was his name? Hartman or Sam Hartman or whatever. He wound up signing with where the hell did he sign? He signed like the biggest undrafted free agent contract in history. They gave him like $225,000 or something like that as an undrafted free agent. Where the hell did he go? I thought he was a solid player, man. He went to the Commanders. The Commanders signed him.
I personally think that a guy like Spencer Rattler has as much chance of being worthy of that pick there as McCarthy was.
I don't agree with that either. I would have laughed that one out of the stadium. But
I'm not saying that he was worthy of the 10th pick, but I'm saying that McCarthy certainly wasn't.
Sure.
Yeah, like they're similar quarterbacks.
We're moving on here. We're talking about our steals. All right, we touched on them. My number 2 steal of the draft is TJ Tampa. The Ravens getting him at number 130.
Crazy.
All right. I mean, this guy put up monster numbers in college, like 83 tackles, 3 interceptions, 19 pass defended over the course of 2 seasons. He's a big body corner. I didn't understand how he fell as far as he did. I think he's going to be one of the steals in the draft, personally speaking, for the Ravens. You had Adonai Mitchell, the receiver from Texas, correct? He went to the Colts at number 52. Talk about 52. That for a minute.
Oh, I mean, like I said, the Chiefs take Mitchell's counterpart in the first round with they traded up to get to the 28 spot. And didn't they trade with Buffalo?
Yes. So Larry said Buffalo trades that pick to the team that beats them every year.
Yeah.
and
That's ridiculous.
gives the Chiefs another one up, which he's absolutely correct. And Chiefs are in their own trouble. I don't know if you saw the news that broke right before we came on, but they're saying that Rashee Rice they're expecting him to miss at least half the season for
I think
being in jail.
I think he's going to miss the whole season, to be honest. But so if that be the case, then they really didn't gain anything in, by taking this kid, because I don't think he's as good as Mitchell is. So the Colts getting him at 52, I'm talking about Xavier Worthy. And the fact that he ran a 4.2 40, yeah, that's great. Okay. But he's got to make the plays on the field. And, the Chiefs are saying, no, he's not a track star. He's a football player. Well, we'll see. Okay. But, yeah, Mitchell going to the Colts, man, that's just huge for the Colts. That was a steal in my mind.
And our number one steals of the draft, my number one steal, and I talked about it a little earlier, Peyton Wilson. And I did some quick research after you said that he doesn't have a leg. Apparently, this guy doesn't have an ACL. He didn't tear it. He just doesn't have one.
That's what I said. He doesn't have an ACL.
Right. So he tore his ACL twice, but he played all year with that. Like, this is how he plays. So, for him to put up the stats that he put up this year, 138 tackles, 17 and a half tackles for loss, 6 sacks, and 3 interceptions, and he did it without an ACL. I think he proved that he could, be healthy enough to make it through a season here and be productive. If he does, it's like I said, it's a great pick for the Steelers.
But there's got to be some underlying situation there that he's that good and he went to the third round. Like medically,
right. It's because he doesn't have an ACL, because he tore it twice, and that's the reason. But he could play without it, and he proved that he could play without it. Tape it up, brace it up, go out there and play ball. And if he could be half as productive as he was this past year, it'll wind up being a good pick for the Steelers. Your number one steal of the draft was Ennis Rakestraw. We talked about it a little bit a couple of weeks ago with your mock draft. The Lions got him at number 61. Talk about what your feelings are, why he's your number one steal of the draft.
Well, I had him picked in the first to go in the first round, and again, I saw this kid play a couple of times last year. He's a great defender. He's a great run defender also, which is big. And that's what I always look for with cornerbacks. I mean, okay, you got everybody can be the prime time knocking the balls down and all, but that was a big knock on Sanders. Sanders couldn't tackle against the run. He never even tried to get into the mix. This kid's a tackler. He's a hitter. And for him to fall to a team that absolutely needed cornerbacks, dropping to the 61 spot, I think Detroit got a steal here.
Yeah, Detroit had themselves a nice little draft too, and it was did
they get
I think it was
corners?
A good draft. Yeah, I think it was a good draft overall, just from not even from a picks perspective, but it ran smoothly. It presented nice. There was a ton of fans, set the attendance record. I just thought it was an overall good night and good weekend for the city of Detroit. And obviously I'm a big Dan Campbell guy, so that's gonna wrap it up, man. That wraps up our mock draft and our real draft coverage and discussions. It's been a crazy 3 weeks, but it's finally come and gone. We know where guys went. We know what situations, we know what storylines are coming out of it. So it'll be exciting to see how it all plays out. That's one of the beauties of this thing is you never know who's going to be that guy who steps up and makes a name for themselves, i.e. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, anything but.
Speaking San Fran drafted the kid from Florida, the wide receiver in the first round. Did you see that?
Purcell or whatever.
Or whatever. Yeah.
I don't understand the pick, but I don't understand the glam for that guy. But anyway, well, weekly roundup. You'll be back soon, buddy. We miss you. You'll be back soon. But we're gonna get into our picks of the week. We're gonna wrap this thing up here. We're gonna go through this quick. Not too much to talk about on my end. I went 0 for 3 last week with a big goose egg for my Prophet. Prophet, you had a big win, and it wasn't without tension. But you had Lowry and McElroy to win the tournament last week, and they wound up doing so in overtime. And you wound up taking home a nice purse of $800, putting you back into the you were always in the green, but putting you way back into the green. So you want to talk about it for a second?
Yeah, real quick, guys. Last week I told you, man, when I put these plays out, that one of them's going to hit. I felt really good about the plays. One of them's going to hit, and watching it back, I did say the one in the middle is my favorite pick for the week. And the one in the middle was Lowry and McElroy. Yeah, it went to overtime, but that doesn't matter. It's what's at the top at the end of the tournament, and that was my two guys.
Sure, I'm just saying it was nerve-wracking. That's right.
No, for sure. I hope you guys jumped on and cashed the tickets.
That's all we're doing here is cashing tickets, right, Prophet?
Cashing tickets.
We're moving on this week. I'm licking my wounds. I only made one play here this week, and it's on the Kentucky Derby, and I'm going with the 6-horse Just Steel because that's where I'm at with my life right now and my money here on this show. I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to have to steal from somewhere. All right, so I might have to go rob a bank or something. So Just Steel kind of jumped out to me. I'm going 15 across the board on Just Steel. It's a $45 bet. Go 15 to win, 15 to place, 15 to show on Just Steel. Prophet, you're going golf again. Obviously, you already gave your Kentucky Derby picks, but talk about your golf picks for the week.
Yeah, guys, this is another tournament where a lot of the big names are not in it. They're taking the week off, which normally opens a door for long shots to come in. I got 3 plays here. Minwoo Lee, Adam Schenk, and Seamus Powers. All 3 of them we're going to put 25 to win on them and 75 on each one of them to finish in the top 20. They're all plus numbers. Okay, we can win up to, let's see, if Powers comes in, $1,275 for a $25 play. And I'm not saying that one of these 3 are going to win, but I'm saying we're going to be in the black after this tournament's over.
Big prediction there. There's big money on the line this weekend. We got a lot going on with the Derby. We got a lot going on with Prophet's golf picks. Larry said, Sling, you don't have enough balance to play more than one play. So, hey, pal, I don't need you reminding me, okay? That's why I'm going to win this week. I'm taking home all 3 when Just Steel brings home the Kentucky Derby victory. Prophet, hey, as always, man, it's been a great show, great dissecting, the draft with you. I'm hoping some of these plays hit because I might be riding your coattails this week. I need to win some money. So, again, if you got any questions on your betting, you want to get some Kentucky Derby plays in, hit us up, pigskinprofit@gmail.com. You can email the show, slingandprofitpod@gmail.com. Just message us on social media, whatever it might be. We will be back next week. We're going to have one more show, I think, and then we're probably going to take a couple weeks off here to get through, the beginning of summer and whatnot. We'll be back next week. We're going to, unpack some stuff, talk about some news, talk about the Derby and stuff like that. But I think we're going to take a couple weeks off after that, and then we'll come back in around end of June sometime, and as we get into mini camps and all, and really dive into you know, our
Football.
NFL preseason breakdowns and stuff like that. So as always, baby, we appreciate you. We appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you listening, however you're doing it, whether you do it live, whether you come back and watch us afterwards, after the fact. We appreciate it all. So until next week, I am Sling. That is Prophet. Hey, have a great night, everybody, man. Thank you.